Ladies and gentlemen, this video session is going to be lengthy. This video session has a lot of explanation, has a lot of guidance to help you experiment the necessary JavaScript commands working together using the functionalities available from Cloudinary library to perform file upload operations using the Cloudinary file repository. You shall provide JavaScript commands inside this experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file. You shall provide commands inside this experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file bit by bit. You must be aware that the code which is applied in this video session is not ready for use inside the actual Node.js backend system project. You will eventually reuse the experimented commands to develop a usable utility function. Ladies and gentlemen, a usable utility function. After you have promisified the logic, you need to promisify the logic. And after you have provided more code to support proper error handling. Before you begin the experimentation, you will need to prepare an environment for yourself within this request_response Node.js project. Within request_response folder, you will need to create another folder, case_study_file_upload. After you have created this folder, please create a new JavaScript file, experiment_cloudinary.js. And please provide an image file, theme_d_logo.png within this folder. Please open package.json file. Within this package.json file, check out the dependencies. Make sure that your request_response Node.js project already has Cloudinary library package installed, already has Streamifier library package installed. If you do not find any of these two libraries installed, please use npm install Cloudinary, npm install Streamifier. Ladies and gentlemen, I have referred to the online technical documentation found at www.npmjs.com. Within this online technical documentation, I am able to require the necessary command to require or to load the Cloudinary library so that I can use the file operation functionalities available from this Cloudinary module through this Cloudinary object. I have also referred to another online technical documentation available at www.npmjs.com in order to find out how to require the Streamifier module so that I can use the functionalities made available by this Streamifier module through this Streamifier object. Ladies and gentlemen, at nodejs.dev, I have also referred to this online technical documentation to bring in or to require the fs module so that I can use various file operation functionalities through this fs object. Please take note that you do not need to use npm install fs to install this fs module. It is already part of the Node.js core. It can be used by simply requiring it. Refer to my Visual Studio Code environment. I have provided 3 commands starting from line 1 up to line 3 to load the 3 modules so that I can use the functionalities available from these 3 modules through Cloudinary object, Streamifier object, and fs object. I have applied 3 JavaScript commands in order to bring in 3 modules so that our JavaScript code can use the functionalities through the respective objects. Next, we shall need to configure the Cloudinary object. After we have provided the necessary code to configure the Cloudinary object, the Cloudinary object will be able to establish communication with the online Cloudinary repository system, then the experiment shall be broken down into 3 steps. The first step is to prepare a variable which can hold file data content. To make a variable able to hold file data content, we shall need the help of FS module functionalities. The second step is to prepare a destination stream. The third step is to prepare a data source stream and flow the data to the destination stream. Before you provide further JavaScript commands inside that experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file, let us take a look at the desired output. After we have provided the commands, let us have some preview of the desired outcome through this experiment. To demonstrate the desired outcome for this experiment, I will need to create a new folder by using this media library interface at Cloudinary. I shall click Add Folder now. I shall give this new folder a name. The name is Themes. After preparing a new folder within this media library, within the Visual Studio Code, at the terminal interface, I shall apply cd case_study_file_upload so that I can focus on that folder. This folder has experiment_cloudinary.js. This folder has the image file theme_d_logo.png. I shall apply node experiment_cloudinary.js in order to get the JavaScript engine process all these commands which we need to familiarize with so that we can build stable file upload operation functionalities in the future. Remember, these are all just experiment code. These are all just learning code. I shall hit the enter key now. When such an output is seen at the terminal interface, I will double click upon this new folder, Themes. We can easily identify that Cloudinary has received that digital data content sent by the JavaScript commands at that experiment_cloudinary.js. And once the digital content has been received, due to the PNG image file structure, Cloudinary is able to display the digital data content as an image inside this Themes folder. After we have some sort of idea on the desired outcome, let us begin by configuring the Cloudinary. Ladies and gentlemen, when you need your Node.js system to work with a MySQL database, you will often apply these commands in order to load or require the MySQL module so that your JavaScript logic is able to use the database operation functionalities made available by this MySQL module through this MySQL object. And you shall often apply this command starting from line 3 up to line 9 in order to provide an object of information consisting of property value pairs so that this CON object will have the necessary credentials when it needs to establish an active connection with the database later. To become a professional IT developer in the future, you will need to position yourself as a professional learner. You do not stop at this kind of code. Take a look at this online article made available at www.w3resource.com. Professional learners do not just rely upon all these frequently used options to prepare a connection object which can communicate with the database to perform database operations. Professional learners are aware that there is a long list of connection options. They will go through this list of connection options from time to time based on the functional objectives that they need to meet when they develop their back-end system. Now, let us take a look at Cloudinary Configuration option. I have applied a search Node.js configure Cloudinary. Find this result title, Node.js SDK, Node.js upload plus image, video dash Cloudinary. The web browser will direct you to this online technical documentation related to Node.js. Scroll down until you find the section titled as Configuration. This is the configuration section. A bit further down, you shall see the necessary JavaScript command that will configure the Cloudinary object. Copy this command at experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file. Paste the copied command. After you have created a user account at Cloudinary, you will log in to Cloudinary and access the dashboard interface. At this account details, you will need to copy the necessary values such as cloud name, the API key, and the API secret. You can see your API secret by clicking Review. Use all these values to make your object of information complete. This object of information shall be passed in as an input to this config method, which belongs to the Cloudinary object. At the early stage of learning, a lot of developers, including me, assumed that we can create a variable as an array. By having such a variable, we are able to use the variable to hold the digital data content, which represents any file types. It can be Word document file, Excel file, PDF file, image, PNG file, JPEG file, audio file, MP4 file, and much more. Unfortunately, that assumption is not good enough. The developer community behind Node.js has presented this important technical documentation at nodejs.org. The topic is about buffers. It is a lengthy documentation. From time to time, we often revisit this technical article to read them again to deepen our understanding about buffers. In this video session, we shall pick out the important points in this online technical documentation. The first important point is use buffers. The second important point is the buffer class in Node.js is designed to handle raw binary data. The third important point is always use console.log statement in order to check the content inside the buffer object. The fourth important point is, in the wild, buffers are usually seen in the context of binary data coming from streams, such as by using fs.createReadStream. When many developers trying to learn how to use buffer, they also often visit this discussion content at Stack Overflow. What is buffer in Node.js? Finally, in this online technical document found at masteringjs.io/tutorials/node/buffer, you will spot some commands which can work together to meet our experiment objective. I shall copy these 3 lines of command now. After providing these 3 lines of command inside experiment_cloudinary.js, we will need to make changes. The command at line 11 is calling this read file sync, which belongs to this fs object. Fs object represents the fs module. The input string for this read file sync method needs to be changed. Recall that we have theme_d_logo.png graphic file sitting at the same folder as experiment_cloudinary.js. I have modified the string input so that the internal logic inside this read file sync method is able to find the file theme_d_logo.png graphic file sitting at the same folder as experiment_cloudinary.js. When the JavaScript engine processes this expression at the right-hand side of the assignment operator, it shall produce a buffer object. Of course, I have verified my understanding through some read up at other online technical content such as Geeks for geeks.org. In this content, the important point we need to identify is this method returns the content of the file, and we are going to declare a constant variable to hold the content of the file. We shall rename this variable from buf to buffer. At line 12, I will apply console log. For the input of this log method, we will apply this expression. Let us have a closer look at this expression, which is used as an input for this console log. In this expression, instance of is an operator. Instance of is an operator. The right-hand side operand is buffer. This buffer is the object type. The left-hand side operand of this instance of is the constant variable buffer. We are using this operator instance of to check whether this constant variable buffer is indeed a buffer type object. If this constant variable buffer is indeed a buffer type object, this expression shall be evaluated as true. As a result, this console log statement will print out a value of true. Of course, again, I have referred to the online technical documentation to verify my understanding. If this buffer object, which has been created at line 11, is indeed a buffer object, this expression shall be evaluated as true. To inspect the content inside that constant buffer variable, at line 14, we shall use console log and provide the constant variable buffer as an input. Save your changes now. Ensure that your terminal interface is focusing on case_study_file_upload folder. Apply node experiment_cloudinary.js. By inspecting the output seen at this terminal interface, the true value is contributed by the statement at line 12. This shows that this buffer constant variable is indeed a buffer object holding the digital data content obtained from theme_d_logo.png PNG graphic file. Let us observe the second output seen inside the terminal interface. By inspecting this output, we can easily recognize that this is indeed a buffer object which contains digital data content obtained from that PNG file. By using these commands, we have experimented and verified that we can indeed create a variable to hold data content which represents a file. The current JavaScript commands have managed to prepare a variable capable of holding digital file content. That variable is, of course, a buffer object. Now we need to focus on sending data to Cloudinary. To perform this action, we will need to break down our coding activity to two steps. The first step is to create the destination. We need an object which knows where the data should be written to. We need an object which knows where the data should be sent to. Once that object has been created, we will quickly proceed to step 2. Create the data source. The buffer variable that we have prepared is not a data source yet. The buffer variable is only holding the digital data content. We need an object capable of reading out the digital content which is residing inside this buffer constant variable. One object shall behave like a destination, knowing where the data should be written at. One object shall behave as the data source, able to read out the data information from our buffer constant variable. Ladies and gentlemen, streams is a very important concept when we are programming to provide file upload and file download feature. There are a lot of web applications surrounding us which require the file upload and the file download functionalities. Ladies and gentlemen, within this online article, let us pick out one important point. Our code can use a stream object to read data from a source continuously. We can also apply code to create stream object to write data to a destination in a continuous manner. Within this Visual Studio Code environment, inside this experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file, we shall provide some JavaScript commands to experiment a little bit regarding stream object. There are two types of stream object that we shall try to appreciate: the readable stream object and the writable stream object. You will work on two experiments to experiment how to use readable type stream object and writable type stream object. The first experiment, you shall provide commands to create a readable type stream object which will use the actual computer file team_d_logo.png as the source of the data. You will also create a writable type stream object which knows where the data should be written to, which is a.png computer file. Once the two stream objects have been created, you shall use a very popular method called pipe. The pipe method belongs to the readable type stream object. By calling the pipe method, you are telling the readable type stream object to begin continuously reading digital data content from the source and sequentially transmit the data to the writable type stream object. The writable type stream object shall continuously accept the data piped to it and continuously write the data into a.png computer file. The second experiment, you shall create a readable type stream object. This time, this readable type stream object shall use the buffer object variable which holds digital data content. It shall use this buffer variable as the source. Then you will create the writable type stream object which will know that it needs to continuously write any transmitted data that it has received into another computer file b.png. After creating the readable type stream object and the writable type stream object, you shall call the popular pipe method again, which belongs to the readable type stream object, and that will kick off the continuous reading action of data from the source, which is the buffer variable that holds the data content, continuously and sequentially transmit the data into the writable stream object. The writable stream object will keep on receiving all these transmitted data and continuously write the received data into b.png file. The writable stream object is a kind of object which knows where the data should be continuously written to or written at. At line 16, we shall create a writable stream object. To begin with, I shall use this fs object. I shall call an important method known as createWriteStream. This createWriteStream method requires an input. I can provide a string value which can be recognized as a.png. Let me mouse over upon this createWriteStream method. You will notice that Visual Studio Code is trying to hint us this method shall create and return a writable stream object. Therefore, I shall create a constant variable to capture this created writable stream object. Constant stream destination followed by the assignment operator to capture the returned object. Next, at line 17, I want to create another constant variable, and the name of this constant variable is going to be stream data source. This constant variable shall capture the readable stream object. I shall use fs object again, call the method createReadStream. Within the input of this createReadStream method, I shall provide a string which can be recognized as team_d_logo.png. The internal logic of this createReadStream method shall use this string of information to find a file. There is a PNG file, team_d_logo.png, sharing the same folder as experiment_cloudinary.js JavaScript file. Therefore, this createReadStream method shall create a readable stream. Let me mouse over createReadStream method. This createReadStream method is going to create and return a readable stream type object. With this object, it knows from where it should continuously read data from. And I have used this constant variable stream data source to capture that readable stream object. At line 18, we shall provide one JavaScript command which will use the stream destination object and the stream data source object working together to continuously read out the data from this team_d_logo.png file and continuously write the read data into a.png file. In this online article, the developer has shared that a readable stream object has a pipe method. Many developers have shared through online articles on how to use this pipe method to pipe the data from the data source to the destination. At line 18, I shall provide the JavaScript command to pipe data from point A to point B. I shall begin by using stream data source. For this object, I shall call the pipe method. Within the input for this pipe method, I shall provide the object stream destination, which knows where these information should be written to. After providing these 3 lines of command, I shall save my changes. I shall use node experiment_cloudinary.js to start executing this JavaScript file. We should expect to see a.png appearing inside this case_study_file_upload folder. Let me hit the enter key now. Notice that a new PNG file has appeared inside case_study_file_upload folder. Let me double click to check out the content of this a.png graphic file. We shall inspect a.png file and team_d_logo.png file. I shall double click on a.png. I will double click on team_d_logo.png file. These 2 files are sharing the same digital content. By visual inspection, we have done our first experiment using the readable type stream object and the writable type stream object. Let us proceed to the second experiment. We shall begin by copying all the commands starting from line 16 up to line 18. Starting at line 20, I shall paste the copied commands. Next, we want to create a writable stream object which will point to b.png file. This writable stream object shall know where the data should be written to. Of course, I cannot have duplicate constant variable names. I shall rename stream destination to stream destination 2. At line 21, we want to create a readable type stream object capable of using the buffer object as the source of the data. Recall that at line 11, we created a buffer object. We used this buffer constant variable to capture that buffer object. This buffer object contains the digital content read from team_d_logo.png file. If we pass the buffer object as the input for this create read stream method, the internal logic inside this create read stream method will not be able to process the buffer object digital content information. The reason is it was not programmed to have such feature. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we have Streamifier library package. At the beginning part of the video session, we have brought in the functionalities of this Streamifier library package, and we can use the functionalities through this Streamifier object. In this online technical documentation, the developers have shared how to use the create read stream method, which belongs to this Streamifier object, to create a readable type stream using a buffer object as the source of the data. After referring to the technical documentation content, we shall use Streamifier object. We shall call create read stream method, which belongs to the Streamifier object. By using this constant variable buffer, which is actually the buffer object which holds the digital content, I shall be able to create a readable type stream object. Again, let me rename this constant variable from stream data source to stream data source 2. For the command at line 22, we shall use stream data source 2 as the readable type stream object. We shall also use stream destination 2 as the writable type stream object. After providing the necessary commands, we shall apply node experiment_cloudinary.js to execute the JavaScript file. We should expect to see b.png file inside this case_study_file_upload folder. I shall hit the enter key now. Once we see this, let me double click upon this b.png file. Through visual observation, we are able to recognize that the b.png file shares the same content as the team_d_logo.png file. As a reminder, for the second experiment, we did not use team_d_logo.png file as the source of the data to create the readable type stream object. Instead, we were using a buffer object. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working on stream objects. We have seen how stream objects can work together to pipe data to stream data from point A to point B. All these experimentations have happened inside or within the Node.js system itself. We are going to proceed on how to write data into Cloudinary. We are going to proceed to the next stage, how to write data into Cloudinary. But I need you to remember that Cloudinary is something which is external to our Node.js system. It is not sitting inside our Node.js system, such as MySQL database. MySQL database is something which is sitting outside the Node.js system. It is external to the Node.js system. Let's take a look at all these code here. In order for us to have our JavaScript commands to establish a communication with an external database, we will need this kind of statement. We usually need to apply the require function in order to build a MySQL module object. Then we can use this MySQL module object by calling the respective methods such as create connection with the necessary having the details on where to find the database and how to connect to the database while creating a connection object. Through this connection object, we can call useful methods such as query method in order to start sending SQL instructions to the database engine so that the database engine can perform its necessary database operation. We often need to create an object in order to establish a connection to communicate with something which is external to our Node.js system. So let us take a look at Cloudinary. For Cloudinary, in order for our Node.js system able to communicate with Cloudinary, we also need to use the require function to build a module object. Let me slowly scroll down. Let's have a look at this sample command over here. This is the module object Cloudinary. Notice that there is a method which we can call. The name of this method is called config. And again, we can pass in object of information having the necessary data, which allows this module object having the capability to establish a connection with Cloudinary. Once this Cloudinary module object has been properly configured, we can subsequently further apply the stream concepts that we have acquired in the earlier part of this video session to begin performing file data streaming to Cloudinary, writing the data and storing the data inside Cloudinary. The previous two experiments have focused on streaming data from point A to point B. We have been creating writable type stream objects, which writes the received data into a computer file. Now, we need to continue creating a stream object capable of establishing a communication with the Cloudinary and at the same time continuously transmit data to Cloudinary and tell the Cloudinary system to write the data inside a folder. To create such a stream object, we will need to apply upload_stream method, which belongs to this uploader object, which again belongs to Cloudinary object. Through this online technical documentation, which is found at www.npmjs.com/package/Cloudinary, I have obtained the necessary information on how to use this upload_stream method. Within the Cloudinary support forum, I have referred to this technical discussion content, which discusses how to upload data to Cloudinary from a buffer object. The developer community have been using this upload_stream method to create a stream object capable of continuously transmit data to Cloudinary and telling Cloudinary to write the data continuously to a particular folder. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I have gathered all these information from different places, from different sources, and piece them together to use upload_stream method to create this stream object. You will need to provide two inputs. We will focus on preparing these two inputs with understanding. The first input for the upload_stream method is an object of information. Here are two examples. Let's have a look at the first example. This object of information has three property value pairs. If you are using this object of information as the first input for the upload underscore stream method, you are creating a stream object which can tell the Cloudinary to write the data content inside the themes folder. The stream object can tell the Cloudinary to only accept JPEG and PNG file data format. The stream object can tell the Cloudinary to reject any resource upload which is not image type. For example, text file, Word document, etc. The second example shows an object of information which has two property value pairs. By using this object of information as the first input for the upload underscore stream method, you are creating a stream object capable of telling the Cloudinary system to write data content inside the documents folder to accept any file format such as Word document, Excel file, text file, etc. Within this Cloudinary online documentation, there is an upload API reference. There are a lot of possible parameters. The developers usually examine this table which tabulates all the possible properties to formulate the correct object of information which finally produces the stream object which they need. For our exercise objective, we are focusing on building a file upload functionality which supports image type resource upload, and we want all these image files to be written inside the themes folder. Therefore, we shall be using the first example inside our code. As a result, we shall apply this object of information when we call this upload underscore stream method. This upload underscore stream method shall return a stream object, and this stream object shall be assigned to this stream destination variable. We are now halfway through configuring this stream destination object. The second input which we need to provide to that upload underscore stream method is a callback function. The stream object, which is referenced by this stream destination variable, is going to continuously transmit file data content to Cloudinary. After the stream object has continuously sent the file data to Cloudinary, after Cloudinary has continuously received and written the data into the correct folder, the Cloudinary will send back some information to the stream object. This information will either describe an error or describes the file operation result. Our JavaScript logic sitting inside our Node.js system environment, which is controlled by our own Node.js project, is waiting for this reply so that our JavaScript logic can continue to satisfy other objectives. For example, writing a record to the database to help the system remembering the file operation, and also respond to the client side whereby a user might be waiting to see whether his upload activity has been completed. When our stream object referenced by our stream destination variable, our stream object sitting inside our Node.js environment is not going to magically tell our code the operation has been completed, you can proceed further. It shall not magically inform our logic to do so. We need to provide some JavaScript commands, some instruction to the stream object, and that is why we are providing a callback function as the second input for the upload underscore stream method. If the stream object receives a reply from Cloudinary stating that the file operation has failed, the internal logic of this stream object shall get all these commands inside this anonymous function to execute. At the same time, passes in the error information through this parameter variable error. and assign a null value to this result parameter variable. If Cloudinary replies to our stream object stating that the file operation has been completed, the file has been successfully written to a particular folder, the internal logic of this stream object shall get all these code within the body of this callback function to execute. At the same time, pass in a value of null to this error input parameter variable, and pass in the file operation status information through this result input parameter variable. By taking a closer look at the body of this callback function, it has an if-else control structure to decide whether to execute the command which will print out the result variable details inside the terminal interface, or to execute this statement to print out the error information to the terminal interface. Based on the previous explanation, we shall apply this callback function as the second input for this upload underscore stream, so that the stream object, which is going to be referenced by this stream destination variable, will have two capabilities. The first capability is to communicate with the Cloudinary system on where the data should be written to the themes folder, to tell Cloudinary on the allowed formats for the data file content, and as well as the resource type of all these file data content. At the same time, the second capability of this stream object is to get the JavaScript engine execute the callback function. Once the stream object receives a reply from Cloudinary, after Cloudinary has written all the data into a particular folder, the Cloudinary system shall reply to our stream object with an error information or with a result information. And when the callback function is being executed, the stream object shall pass in the error information if there is any. The stream object shall pass in any result information if there is any through this result input parameter variable. With the availability of this callback function, we can continue writing more JavaScript commands so that our JavaScript logic can continue the subsequent operations, such as writing a record to the database, helping our Node.js system remember about this file operation